morning, everyone. Now we're going to talk about FMCG and how the business model of this industry has to adapt to respond to the global trends. Well, first, I'm going to introduce you to the FMCG industry. After that, we are going to talk about two specific examples, one in chocolate and one in skincare. And at the end, we are going to bring you to think about your own industry and how you can apply this to it. So, think about this morning. You woke up, you washed your hands, washed your face, combed your hair, brushed your teeth. In all these moments, you were in contact with some FMCG product, where FMCG stands for fast-moving consumer goods. This is a huge industry. 3.6 billion people in the world, half of the world uses it every day. And it's mainly comprised by food, but also tobacco and personal healthcare and households are also complied inside of it. It's an industry that is growing rapidly. 4% per year, that is more than the GDP, the global GDP. And that is mainly driven by the emerging markets, mainly in Asia. One, to analyze a business model, can use the framework that we already have seen from Ralph and from the first group. And in the case of FMCG, we see that the main characteristics of the industry are related to the integrated production. For example, an industry starts to produce also their own packaging. Also, the broad product scope. For example, only one single product has so many different brands. And also the intimate consumer relationships and the important role that the marketing plays in this industry. So, but not only the business model counts. We also have to look at the global trends that are affecting. So, in the case of FMCG, we are going to analyze two special trends that are the resources scarcity and the changes in income distribution. So, to see that, let's walk through a specific example of chocolate. Everybody loves chocolate, and therefore, the consumption of this product has remained stable. But many things are happening that are making the production of this product really decreases. For example, in the political domain, we see that governments have been stepped in and setting prices, as long as also the taxation of cocoa beans have been applied in some countries. Regarding also the environment, we see that depleted soils, drought, and other factors have been causing the depletion of the plantations. All of these factors have been shown that there will be a shortage of this product in 2020. So, industries in this field have to adapt, and therefore they are working on strategies to make it happen. For example, cost strategies. We have to increase in prices and decrease in costs. Vertical integration, deal with securing the raw material. Expanding production, looking for new locations. Dealing with co-development programs and helping the farmers to improve in their production. And also dealing with technological advancements and investing in R&D. Now, let's see a specific example. Let's talk about Pierre Marcolini, that is a Belgian chocolatier. This company believes so intensely in the shortage of cocoa that they say that now it's a product that's on your plate, but soon it's going to be found in a museum. They see that the chocolate mainstream industry will be gone, and there will only have space for a premium product. Therefore, they are moving themselves in this area, and they are investing intensely in a very specific and good production of raw material so they can have a very premium product. They are also leveraging in this and bringing the knowledge to their consumers about what they are doing, so their consumers can see what are the farmers, who are the farmers, and therefore they can bring this lifestyle brand experience to luxury chocolate. Another example of strategy that is being applied is from Mars. And Mars is developing a co-development program and is helping 150,000 farmers in Côte d'Ivoire to improve their farming. So they are entering the supply chains. They are giving to these farmers research, technological transfers. They are also helping them with certifications in order for them to have a more valuable product at the end. And they are doing everything in order for them to be more profitable and not drop the production to change for another business more profitable. So to win in this market, what must a chocolate company do? First, it has to leverage in the key success factors. Has to look to deal with the farmers and help them. Has also to deal with coordination, to help with certifications, to do co-development programs. And finally, deal with the internal organization as well. So now let's talk about the case of skincare, and Alex will walk you through this example.
Thank you, Renata. So let's take a quick look at where we've been. We started looking at the FMCG business system and thought about how trends have affected this business system and how the FMCG companies have adapted their business model to cope with them. We talked about chocolate as an example and resource scarcity, how they've dealt with resource scarcity in relation to cocoa. I want to talk about skincare in a completely different way. What we see with regard to skincare and how FMCG companies are dealing with the way that the trends are developing is that there's a traditional income pyramid that you're all familiar with, supported by a large population of lower income earners, a middle class, and a smaller upper class. But what's happening in the world today is this pyramid is changing. There are two factors. The first is that the middle income class is shrinking. And this is a problem for FMCG because this is the bread and butter of this industry. Instead of going after these customers, which are actually going away, they need to think about the lower side of the pyramid. There are more customers coming into this. There's more consumers that have never consumed anything before. They've never consumed FMCG products. They've never thought about brands. They've never thought about the trust that's built through these experiences. These consumers have, on average, an income of $2,500 per year, and so can't afford the same type of products that have been successful in the developed world. FMCG companies, specifically in skincare, are coping with these different challenges in 4 different ways. First, they need to think about accessibility and affordability. They need to think about the awareness because, again, these consumers have not experienced these brands. And they need to think about how to build trust with those folks. So again, let's look at 2 examples of ways that companies in this industry are dealing with this trend. Meet Sita. Sita is a mother, a grandmother, and a well-respected figure in her rural village in northern Hindustan. Through the help of the Shakti program with Unilever, Sita has been given working capital to buy products that then she can sell in her neighborhood and in her village and in the villages around her. This accomplishes 2 things for Unilever. The first is that Sita is an ambassador for the brand. People trust her, they respect her. And so because she's selling the same products, they respect and think the products are good for them as well. The second is Unilever is able to penetrate a part of the world that they've never been able to before. In Hindustan, there are no supermarkets. There are no stores. There are no pharmacies in which people typically buy these products. This is a way that Unilever has come forward and thought about penetration in the market. A second example. Let's change continents. We'll go to Mexico. P&G has worked out a new program called the Golden Stores Program that has been very successful. As you probably know, with these emerging consumers, they don't have the same income level, the same disposable income to approach and to buy the same products that you're used to buying in the stores here. What they've done is they've miniaturized their products to single-use or very few use sizes at a time. So when you go and buy soap, you don't buy a bar, you buy 1 use. When you go and buy cooking oil, you don't buy 2 liters, you buy 50 centi. So what they're doing is fighting a battle not for whole aisles of shelf space, not for one facing of shelf space, but for one part of one shelf in a very small store like you see on the screen. And with these 20, 50 units at a time of these single-serve products, they're amassing a huge business, $16 billion a year. So, again, stepping back to think about the business system, what's happening in FMCG and how are they dealing with these challenges? The first that we've talked about is this idea that distribution and routes to market has to change. You can't go to the market the same way you have in the past. FMCG companies have had to get comfortable with an ad hoc retail system. If you're looking at 220,000 stores in Mexico City, or you're looking at rural brand ambassadors in northern India, you can't go to market the same way. They're not going to go to the warehouse and pick up a trailer of product on multiple pallets. It's going to be handed over in a backpack. The second thing around key success factors that we need to think about is the fact that we can leverage data and technology and the fact that FMCG in general has deep consumer insights, and combine these things to develop micro-targeted marketing statements to reach consumers in the way that they want to be reached. The thing is that consumers in these rural markets, these emerging consumers, don't consume products the same way. They don't have the same needs. They don't expect the same things. They don't engage the brands the same way. So the FMCG companies that have been successful with this have thought about going to market differently. In combination with this ad hoc retail system, FMCG needs to think about coordination with local players. There's no way to understand these micro markets. No regional supply chain manager, no national sales director can understand the neighborhoods in each individual city and how those things might change. Partnership with local entrepreneurs and local retailers, in every sense of the word retail, need to be established and built. Lastly, price continues to be an issue, but cost is even more so. FMCG companies have mastered the integration of their supply chain around the current model. But reaching these new consumers requires something different. Not only are they more price sensitive due to their lower disposable income, but they also are consuming things in a different way. The small package size is driving relative packaging costs up. So you have higher costs, higher price sensitivity, which means less ability to pay higher prices, and you have margins that are squeezed in the middle. The only thing that we can do to address this is to continue to evolve the supply chain around how to move these efficiently, how to produce them efficiently, and keep an open mind around how we can evolve the quality to match the consumer's needs while also keeping an eye on price. So we've taken a little bit of a journey through the FMCG industry. We've looked at two specific examples, the case of chocolate and the case of skincare. We've thought about how are the trends in the world today affecting this industry? And we've seen that FMCG has done a decent job of adapting their business system, their model, in order to address this market and to continue to be successful and grow. I'd like to ask you all to think about now how these trends affect your industry. And we'd like to talk a little bit about how you can take the learning that FMCG has had and maybe think about how we address it in each one of the different things that we work in. So to start with, we've talked a lot about emerging consumers. But we do know that these consumers, this bottom of pyramid, less than 2,500 annual income, are the growth engine of the future for a lot of our businesses and a lot of our industries, not just in FMCG. In order to address these people, we need to reach them in a different way. We need to approach them with different brand values, and we need to communicate and drive distribution channels to reach these areas separately. In order to do that, we have to have an integrated set of choices. Our strategy has to be differentiated. In line with our strategy, supply chain has to match with this strategy. And lastly, we've seen in the FMCG space that the companies have been successful with co-development programs, and what they've done with these is built credibility with local consumers that have had no experience with these brands in the past. What they've done is built credibility through third-party certification. And we see that in this space specifically, but that is something that is relevant elsewhere, which is that you can talk about how you are as a corporate citizen if you can have someone else saying it for you. Thank you.